badge of courage. Mark God.
My mom is always right. And if you have any doubt, you have to meet my mom. When I was 8 years old, she told me, if you tell a man 100 times that he's a coward, he will become one. Mom, why are you telling me the stories? It cannot be true. It took me another 30 years to realize the value of those words. I've come to realize that words create our reality. And my very first discovery with power of words came from my childhood. As you probably know, I spent my childhood in Siberia. And some of you are probably wondering, what did he do to deserve to be sent to Siberia? Let me assure you, I did not go for the weather. I am the oldest of 4 children, 2 more boys and 1 girl. The winters in Siberia are harsh, cold and dreary, and we were stuck inside the home waiting to go outside when the weather became warmer. What made it worse, both of our parents worked. They worked and they were never home. Finally, when the summer came, it was time for us to go and play outside. I was entrusted with the care of my siblings. And we desperately wanted to see our parents. I was just 10 years old, and I had a brilliant idea. I said, kids, why don't we visit our parents at work? Makes sense! There was one problem. And I'd like to introduce you to my brother, Artur. Many people told us that we looked the same, almost like identical twins. Well, almost. Except one difference. My brother was afflicted with autism. He lived in a world of fear and almost no words. Sometimes if he could utter 1 or 2 words a week or a month, that was a miracle. And I know he couldn't leave the home to go with us to visit our parents. That's when I realized, why don't I tell him stories? Stories of courage to inspire him to break through the fear and venture outside. I told him, we're not just going to go visit our parents, but we're going to go on an adventure. Instead of taking a bus, we're going to take a magic carpet ride. And the bus driver will be our wizard and a nobleman taking us to treasure. After a while, inside his big brown eyes, I saw courage. Courage that was born out of stories of bravery. Artur has taught me the value of words. Words are tools to help us find our better selves. It's the instruments that we can use to change. As I prepare for this talk, I realize that words are powerful. And in my research, I have come across an interesting discovery. In English language, we have the word fear and courage. Did you know the word fear has 1,200 synonyms? Fear, dread, consternation, trepidation, anxiety, tremor. Are you scared yet? And my personal favorite, FOMO, fear of missing out. I can tell you're impressed. The word courage only has 600 synonyms. Audacity, solitude, strength, bravery. The language of fear is twice as big as the language of courage. What are we so afraid of that we have twice as many words to describe our fears? What are you afraid of? Are you afraid of losing a job, a home, a spouse, or maybe gaining a few pounds? If we let it, fear will drive ourselves to paralyze ourselves at the core. How many times have you come across that little voice in your head saying, hey, pay attention to me. There's a way to do better things. There's a way we can break through and find that better job and maybe find that better career. And what do we say? No, we are afraid to take that steps. And I believe if we are afraid too many times, we take a step backward and backward and backward. And then finally we have nowhere to run, and we may look at our life, and all we'll see is just a patchwork of moments of silence and defeat sewn together with fear. So you're gonna stand there afraid, or step forward and be courageous. I realized the value of courage personally. I have achieved some measure of American success. Got my degrees, my masters, my business, my home, and lost it all. Home, marriage, business, gone. That's when fear became real. I remember sitting on the couch in my friend's home, homeless, thinking, how will I ever get out of this? And that's a dark time. Can you relate? Being homeless, ironically, I traveled to Washington State. And I was able to connect with a program so I can build houses for people who are homeless, just like I was. For the duration of my assignment, I was assigned a family to stay with. Family was mom, dad, 5 kids, a dog, and me. I felt the rhythm of their life through their kindness and their courage. They took me all over town and showed me what family and courage is all about. I remember one day when they took me to the top of the Cascade Mountains. As the sun was setting, we were sitting around the fire. Pacific Ocean was to my left. Canadian Rockies were there in the distance. I had a conversation with the mom of the host family and said, why did you take a risk on me? Why did you open up a home to a stranger? You never seen me before, you'll never see me again. She said, yes. But we like to take a risk on you. Sometimes you have to lose everything to find out who you really are. And then you get to decide what kind of person you want to become. We all have encountered fear that is paralyzing. And it's coming every day, in the morning, afternoon, in evening. And how do I know? Because we have so many words for fear. The language of fear, it truly is twice as big as the language of courage. I would like to invite you to a possibility. I'd like to invite you to decide to replace and to become. You can decide to change your language. You can look fear straight in the eye and say, not today, not today. Because I want you to say yes to courage. When you say yes to courage, the courage lies at the heart of risk and change. Once you decide, I want you to replace. Replace the word of fear with strength and audacity. Apprehension with solitude. And dread with serenity. I talk about fear as you travel through life, as fear will travel with you in the car. Put courage in the front seat and fear in the back. And let me tell you, nobody wants a backseat driver. So you look at the fear and say, you may come with us. You will not tell us where to go. You will not tell us how to control the climate. And for goodness sakes, you will not tell us what to play on the radio. Decide, replace, and then become. Because once you choose courage, with courage, you make all the other virtues possible. I invite you to become courage warrior with words. Because I know you can. Fear is the reaction. Courage is the decision. Decision is yours. Thank you.